I wanted to share a super quick video with you because I'm just back from 3 days camping at a festival with my kids. We've been going to this festival for over 10 years now, but this was our first time going as traders. This definitely came from my children, not from me, which is why they were selling runic items rather than me giving rune readings, because I just wanted to laze around in the sun, drinking a little bit of mead and watching the jousting. So this is underneath here. You can see my logo. This was a tote bag that we were giving out free for little bundle purchases, and quite soon this will be available on my website as well. If you're buying certain things, you'll get a free tote bag with my logo popped in the post for you. One of the big questions we were asked at the festival, and all of my children were schooled in this answer, is why do I choose to work with the younger futhark? And it's a really good question. So I thought I would just pause from unpacking various muddy cloaks and full gown, full length dresses for myself and my daughter to share a quick video. There are 16 runes in the younger futhark, and these are the runes that would have been used in the Viking era. So if you're interested in Norse mythology or Norse wisdom, these are the historical accurate runes to use. And my passion is Norse mythology. So I'm not interested in which is the oldest set of runes. I am interested in which is the most appropriate set of runes, and it's the younger. The other key piece of information for me is that the sounds or the names of these runes, the younger futhark, are in Old Norse, whereas the names or the sounds of the older futhark are in Proto-Germanic. What that basically means is they have recreated what they think the sounds might have been as an academic exercise, rather than knowing through oral history, through songs, through story, what the names were. And so just as an example, some of the names of these runes or the sounds, we have os, we have laug. The word laug in Old Norse literally means water. We have nud, we have fi. We still use the word fi in English today to represent money. We have rye, and we have craft, and all of these sounds are in Old Norse. So if you are using the runes because you are fascinated or you want a gateway into Norse wisdom, these are the runes to use, both historically and because of the information we have. And you may be a bit surprised to realise that the elder futhark are in fact not Scandinavian, but they come from the migration period and they are Germanic. But actually, if you look at the books carefully, the early books, not the books that have been, recopied and repeated and recopied and repeated, the early books do tell us this. This is a book by Edred Thorson, and certainly right at the beginning, he makes it very clear. The rune names in Proto-Germanic, a constructed common ancestor of all Germanic languages. Gothic, Old English and Old Norse are provided. And so, for me, that is one of the main reasons why I prefer the younger futhark, because these are the gateway runes to the Old Norse. We also have more original sources about the younger futhark. We actually have no original sources of why or how the elder futhark was used. We have some carvings in rocks, which people have tried to interpret, probably very well, but we actually don't have any sources of how or why they were used. Whereas with the younger futhark, and a copy of my book here, which you can buy as a PDF from my website, you can buy it as a book from my website, and it's also available from Amazon as an ebook and a book. And I've actually included the rune poems for each of the runes at the start of each rune, if that makes sense. These are my translations of the rune poems. It was a part of my training was to translate these from Old Norse and Old Icelandic. It was a pig of a job, I have to be honest. And it really made me appreciate that when you read the Eddas or the Havamal, the translator holds a lot of power. Because many, many times, we will go straight to Fi. There we go. We'll get the rune card to go with that. Many, many times, for each of the words in these tiny little stanzas here, there were several words that I could have used. And so even though they are 2 or 3 line stanzas, translating them was complicated. And as an example here, we've got wealth causes strife amongst kinsmen. The wolf lives in the wood. These are kennings, these are riddles. We don't know why they were recorded. Were they to codify the information? Were they to preserve the information? Were they to teach the information? We don't know. But the second one, wealth, source of discord amongst kinsmen, and fire of the sea, and path of the serpent. Now, I use the standard translating here, and path of the serpent, but actually, really post-camping, trying to swing my brain round there. The Old Norse is actually ok grafside gata. And I've put grafside in there so that if anybody is interested in Old Norse, it might query, email me, ask me, look it up yourself. Ok and graf, the grave, the mound. Side, that magic that we all read about. And in my tradition, the side is a sort of a shamanic journeying kind of a magic, a connecting to the other, to the land of the spirits. Ok, graf, side, gata. Gata can mean gate, it can mean path, it can mean riddle. And path of the serpent is a sort of a codified translation of this strange phrase, of which I am quite obsessed, you may tell. Ok, graf, side, gata. I have spent hours of my life exploring this riddle. I have many answers, which I'm not going to bore you with or lose myself in right now. But I've included these because I want you to have as near to source as we can have it. Because that's what I love about these runes. No, they may not be the oldest. No, there may not be as many. But we can access them through the rune poems, through the rune charms in the Havamal, bearing in mind that the Nud rune represents Ud, Verdandi and Skuld. So suddenly Odin's rune charms match the younger futhark perfectly. We can access them through their Old Norse sounds, and we can access them through the Norse mythology. Now, there are certainly ways to access the Elder Futhark, but I personally don't think it's so easy to access them through these sources. And I just picked this one up randomly off my bookshelf. I was literally going through all of my rune books, working out which ones actually admit that the rune sounds are in Proto-Germanic. Sometimes it is better to have less and understand them more deeply than to have more and have simply read the backgrounds. And that's why in my book I do give the rune poems. I give the name of the deity that I was taught is associated with that rune, Frey, and the sound in Old Norse, Fi. I give a little bit of background about the deity, and then I give some keywords as well. People like keywords. I get that. I like keywords, but I didn't want it to be just keywords. And what's very important, and I do put this at the back of my book, and I think it's absolutely essential. I did a little bit of writing. I'm very blessed that somewhere down the line, someone that I know created a younger futhark rune font, which allows me to type at ease in the runic font. Sometimes if I'm really pissed off with somebody, I will send them a whole email in this, but not often. Any book on the runes, unless it's an academic source, should state that the book is a personal reflection. And I've got that here. This booklet is my reflection on the runes. Never take, a bit further down, never take anyone's understanding at face value. Question, ask why, and always trust your own intuition. When you work with runes, it needs to feel right. It needs to make sense to you. Keep questioning, keep learning, and have fun as you go. But for me, it is the Old Norse sounds and the fact that these are the 16 runes that were used in the Viking era. That's what I love, and that's what fascinates me. So the rune cards will be available super soon on my website. I wanted to sell them for the first time publicly at the festival because it's such an important festival for us. These were created as a learning tool for my personal students. I've been teaching for 10 years now. Some people have been working with me for about 8 years. So I really have a sense of what works. So these were printed out first of all on A4 pieces of paper, and we worked with them. Then I did the print run, and we've worked with them as a group. I've done numerous professional readings with these, and I read for myself personally with them. So I didn't want to sell them publicly until I was absolutely damn sure they work.